Welcome to 16 Weeks of Sats and Lesson 1, which is all about addition. Now, in my first run of filming, all of the videos combined ended up being nearly an hour. So what I've done is I've condensed all of the videos down into 3 smaller chunks for you to get stuck into this week. So there's one video on addition, which is column addition. The second video is about column subtraction. And the third video is about varied fluency, which is all about addition and subtraction questions being presented in visually different ways, and they're really, really important. So they're in the third video this week that is going to be available right now. So definitely check that out after you've looked at addition and subtraction. So that's what this week's video is going to be about, column addition. This is, as I've said, the first week of 16 weeks of videos. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel to support all of the videos that we're doing and to make sure that you get notifications of those videos. The other thing I'd like to ask for is definitely comment. Let me know if there's any additional videos that you'd like to see made, if there's any misunderstandings in there, but also shout outs. Let me know from which school you're watching from, if the school that you attend. Parents, absolutely let me know what you've been getting up to and where hopefully successes have been. So definitely shout outs are very, very welcomed. And the final thing really is, as the videos go through, the 20-minute videos, try to get into the habit of just pausing the video regularly. As a new question comes up, even before I deliver some of the content, try to have a go at some of the questions yourselves. There are question sets at the end, but by all means, every time a new question comes up or I present a new question, have a go at it yourself and then think about the video afterwards and how I might talk you through that strategy. So I'm really excited for these 16 weeks. This is the first video. There's 2 more this week that are already live, so check them out. So let's get stuck straight into it. Right then, let's get straight into it. So straight away, the first thing we need to think about is just what is addition. Okay, so if we just look at the example above, we've got 324 add 45, add or plus equals unknown number. So just to start with, we need to understand that these 2 numbers that are being added together are known as the addend, and the number or the total of the 2 addends, or 3 or 4 addends, is the sum. Okay, so that key vocabulary is important. So we've got 2 addends, the equal symbol and the sum. And it's important to come back to this equal symbol and reference the fact that when we talk about an equal symbol, the equal symbol shouldn't just mean the answer. So this add this equals the answer or is the answer. What the equal symbol actually means is that the sum of these 2 numbers is the same as this number. So we often call it the answer because this is being posed as a question, but what the equal symbol is showing a balance. Okay, so if we had, for example, 2 add 2 equals 4, what the equal symbol is showing is that 2 and 2, essentially we have 4 here and we have 4 here. Okay, in a question, the sum is unknown. So that's why it's often known as the answer, because it's the answer to a question. But in essence, the sum is equal to the total of the addend. So a little bit complicated, but essentially fairly simple as well. So what we need to think about now is how we lay this out. So we have the 2 addends. So we have 324 add 45. So the next thing is to think about how do we lay that out effectively. So I'm just going to recomplete this ruler line quite quickly. Do it like that, that's fine. So the first thing we need to do is use the squared paper that we have to write the question out. So we've got 324 add, and it's important to add this symbol 45. So I'm going to start with the 5 and add the 4. Now the reason I've done that is that we really want to think about something called our place value, which is linked to the value of each column in this strategy, which is known as column addition. So we have our ones column, we have our tens, we have our hundreds, and if we would continue on, we'd have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and so on. But by aligning our ones to begin with, so in the 2 addends, we've got 4 and 5, Okay, by lining that up, we can work to the left knowing that this is our ones column. The next column will always be the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and so on. So if we can guarantee that our ones column will remain as the ones, then we're always going to be able to guarantee the fact that we're going to get the rest of the question laid out correctly. All right, so the other thing to note is that we always want to carry out addition or subtraction from right to left. So we would always start in the ones column and then add the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and so on. So we're always beginning in the ones column and then moving through the tens and the hundreds. So we'll see that in this example here. So if we quickly jump back to the question, we're going to do 4 in the ones column. We're going to do 4 add 5, which equals 9. So we're writing that down here. Then we're moving to the tens column. So we're here in the tens column. So 2 add 4 is 6. And then the hundreds column, we've got 3, nothing to add to it. So the 3 will just drop down and we have an answer of 369, which is fantastic. Okay, so this answer that we see here in a SATs question would be correct. So a very simple layout, ensuring that you have ones, tens and hundreds, thousands, whatever it may be, which is getting us in a great position to complete any addition. The real basics of addition and subtraction, and I hope that that's really helped a lot of you, or it has just refreshed what you already know. So we're going to jump back into you being able to see me, and we'll finish off today's video. Thank you. Look at another one. So in this example, we have the number 1,326 add 429. Now, I didn't mention this in the last question, but in your SATs, this is how questions will be presented. Okay, so they'll be presented in a number sentence where we have one number written out in essentially a line and with no answer, and you'll be expected to answer that question. So it's not, the questions themselves are not giving you a strategy. We're looking at column addition. They're not giving you a strategy. You can answer however you wish. I'm now showing you a strategy that you can use, and we're using column addition. So what we would do essentially is begin to write the question out. So I'll just go back there. We've got 1,326 and we've got 429 to add. So I'm just going to make sure that I put my ones in first to create that place value and just write the number out backwards essentially. Now if we go through here, we've got our ones, our tens, our hundreds, and our thousands. Now this column at the top, or this row at the top, sorry, where I'm writing the place value, you don't need to do that whenever you're doing column addition. I'm just doing that now so that you can see which each column is. So we have our ones, our tens, our hundreds, and our thousands column, and then our answer is going to be written here. So again, we're always beginning with the ones, and then we're moving through the different columns. So let's have a little bit of a go. If you want to pause the video now, pause it, have a go at it, and then you'll see me complete the question as well. So let's have a quick go. So we've got 6 add 9. So 6 add 9 is 15. So we place in the 5 and we carry the 1. I'll talk about that shortly. 2 add 2, add 1 is also 5. 3 add 4 is 7. And the 1 will drop down, there's nothing to add to it. So our answer is 1,755. Now, straight away, we've sort of jumped into 6 add 9 is 15. And now obviously we can only place the unit, because obviously whenever we do column addition, if we bridge 10, we'll get a 2-digit answer of, in this example, 15. So the 1, if we again think about ones and tens, the 1 would go into the column that we're working in, and we carry the 10 into the next column, which you can see is here. Okay. Now these videos all really work on the premise that as year 6s, you have a good understanding of addition as it stands. So essentially these videos should be a little bit of a recap. Everything that I'm talking about should be fairly new, fairly known to you, and this concept of exchanging and carrying shouldn't be anything new. All right, so we've got 6 add 9 is 5, 2 add 2, add the 1 that we've carried, or the 10 that we've carried into the tens column from here. So we created 15. We can't write 15 in this area, so we have to carry the 10, which is added in the tens column, which makes complete sense. All right, so well done if you got 1,755. Let's take a look at the next question. So again, we're going to go straight into laying the question out. All right, so let's just drop that back, take a pen. So 3,467, add, and again I'm just going to work backwards to ensure that my ones align, and that means everything else is going to align. So we've got 4, 6, 9. All right, so at this point we've got 3,467 add 964, and it's important to note, it's a little tip, it's not a big one, but when we do write these questions out, I still advise, seen it a lot over the years, that you do write the symbol, okay, whether it's addition, whether it's subtraction, because quite often in our rush of writing this out and completing it, sometimes we'll carry out the wrong calculation. We'll do a subtraction when it's addition, we'll do an addition when it's subtraction, and we'll get the wrong answer, which we don't want. So this again is just a little prompt to help us. So again, just to quickly recap, we're going to drop into the place value again. So we've got the ones, we've got our tens, we've got our hundreds, and we've got our thousands. Again, you don't need to write this out in your sats or when you answer the question. This is me just highlighting this to you to show that we've got that presentation and layout of place value, which means it's very, very difficult to get this wrong, which is what we want. So let's move into the question. So 7 add 4 is 11. So again, we're going to need to carry. That 1 gets carried into the next column because we created 7 add 4 is 11. This 1 of the 1 and the 10 goes here, and then we're carrying the next one into, or the 10 into the next column, okay? So we'll just get rid of those scribbles, and 7 add 4 is 11, and we've carried the 1. So into the tens column, we've got 6 add 6 add 1, so 6 add 6 is 12, add the additional 1 is 13. So we've created another 2-digit number, which means we have to carry 100, because essentially here, if we're thinking about the knowledge, because this is the tens column, we've actually, although we've done 6 add 6, we're actually doing 60 add 60, add 10, which is 130. But column addition is a short version of the complete problem. Okay, we're abbreviating these numbers and shortening them into single digits. So we've got, although we've carried the 1, which is the phrase, we've actually created 100 and carried another 100 into the hundreds column. Okay. So if we go back to completing the question, 4 add 9 is 13, add the 1 is 14, and we're going to carry 1, or carry 100 over into the thousands column, or sorry, 1,000 over into the thousands column, and complete the question. 3 add 1 is 4. So we end up with that nice situation of 4,431, nice clear presentation. Any of the carries that we've done are clearly marked so we can see that. Okay, so that would get us the correct answer. So again, nice little tick. And we'll look at this final one. So again, pause the video at any point that you want to try and complete it on your own and come back to me talking when you want to do that. So again, we'll go straight into the presentation of the question. So we've got 6,734, add, and I'm going to start in the ones column just to ensure that layout is correct. So again, just for consistency, we've got the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands. We're going to start in the ones column, and we're going to, after that, we're going to work from left to right. Okay. So we're starting in the ones column. 4 add 2 is 6. 3 add 9 is 12, which means we're going to carry 1 again. 7 add 3 is 10. Add the 1 is 11, which means we're going to carry another 1,000 over into the thousands column. And then we've got 6 add 3 is 9. Add the additional 1 is 10, which means we carry over 10,000. We'll just do that in red. And That's obviously just 1. So we've got, again, a really straightforward, simple answer of 10,126. And again, that would have got us the mark. But again, all this comes back to being able to lay things out effectively. We've got our ones, our tens, our hundreds and thousands, and that enables us to come back to the ones, complete it, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and so on. And it's important to note that when we do column addition, no matter how large the question is, so you could have a question that was 10,000 or 100,462, add another huge number. Now, it wouldn't matter as long as you laid it out effectively. The largest calculation that you're going to do in column addition is really simply 9 add 9. Okay, so if you were laying it out like this, the largest calculation you're going to do is 9 add 9, which is obviously 18, which means you'll have 8 carry 1. So that's essentially we can boil column addition down to overall presentation and the largest addition problem that you will do, which is 9 add 9, which is always going to be 8 carry 1, or 18, which means you have 8 carry the 1. Okay, and that is column addition. So let's have a quick look at some of the SATs examples. Now again, I've mentioned this before in that if we take a look at the question, or let's just have a quick look at just the general layout. Okay, you will have seen these before, most likely. So we have the question. This is the first question in the SATs paper. You have this squared paper, and then you have this blue box here, which is where you must write the answer. If you don't write the answer here, you don't get the mark. If you write the correct answer here and leave this blank, you will not get the mark. Okay, this blue box is for the markers. So whoever marks the paper will write a 1 in here or a 0. So 1 is the mark, correct. So there's 2 ways to probably solve this problem. The first way to do it is to just use mental addition. Now, some of you will just be able to add 30 and then add 8, or possibly add 40 and take 2 away. But you can do this question mentally. Ultimately, if you just wrote the correct answer in here with no work in here, that is fine, as long as the correct answer is here. So you do it in your head, write the answer. But if not, and you want to work the strategy out, like I do, then this is how we're going to do it. And really, if you watch me now, this isn't going to take long. You're quickly going to draw a line to help you with your presentation, quickly drop back to a pen, and then we're writing the question out. 689, add 38, and we're into answering it. 9 add 8 is 17. We're going to carry the 1, which we can see there. 8 add 3 is 11. Add the 1 is 12. Again, we're going to carry. And 6 add 1 is 7. So we have the final answer of 727. Correct. In fact, correct, but it's incorrect. Why? Because you haven't written it in there. Okay, so to actually get the mark, you must write 727 in this box. Okay, then it would get marked as correct. If you just left it with this here, unfortunately, that would get 0. Okay, so you must write the answer in the answer box here. Very, very important. Oops, so again, here's another example. You might in SATs encounter 3 numbers. Okay, so don't let this throw you off. Again, look, this is the first question that someone's encountered in the past. It's question number 1 in the SATs. So it's just laying out 3 numbers on top of each instead of 2. And again, I would be looking at the ones column and thinking I need to make sure I line those up, otherwise I'm going to get it wrong. So again, there's no time at all involved in this. If we timed it straight into it, we're going to write the questions out, or write the question out, yeah. So 6,155, trying to be as neat as possible. Add, so I know I've got 501, so 105. And this is making sure that I'm lining up my ones column. Then I'm adding 649. So I've got a 9, a 4, and a 6. Now, if you are confident with laying this out, you don't necessarily need to write the numbers backwards like I have. I've just done that to ensure if you get the ones right and work left, then you'll obviously lay everything out accurately. Okay, so I'm just really reiterating the importance of getting your place value right, because now we're in a situation where we can't really get this wrong. It's just adding a couple of numbers together. So let's go through the problem. So 5 add 1 is 6, add 9 is 16. Sorry, 5 well, there's two ways, I apologise. 5 add 1 is 6, add 9 is 15, but you might just spot 9 add 1 there in the problem, which is 10, add the 5. Okay, so we'll put the 5 in. That means we're going to carry the 1. 5 add 4, again, you might spot that 4 and 1 is 5, so 5 add 5 is 10. So we'll put in the 0, carry the 1, or carry the 100 in. And then we've got, again, I'm spotting we've got 5 and 1 up here. So we've got a 1 and a 5, which is 6. Add 6 is 12. Add the 1 is 13. So I would write the 3, carry the 1, and then that leaves me with 6. Add the 1, which is going to be 7 in here. So very easily we've done that in no time at all. Obviously I've taken a little bit of time to explain all the carries, which has took a bit longer, but ultimately that gets us to the answer, which needs to be written in here. Okay, so we would need to write, I'll just rub that out. Don't want that. 7,305, and that would get us a mark. So well done. So again, this is a good opportunity for you to pause the screen and to have a go at some of these questions yourself. They will get progressively more difficult. There's only 5 to do, but you should be able to handle those. And again, most of you will have an iPad, a calculator, an iPhone, something like that with you where you can double check the answers. If you've gone wrong on some of them, the likelihood is that you have made a miscalculation somewhere or you've not laid it out correctly. So again, have another go at them if you get them wrong, and really scrutinize your presentation, your layout, and whether you've just made an error. Okay, so well done. So that's video 1 completed, lesson 1 with addition. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense around everything to do with place value, how we lay out column addition questions, and importantly, how we need to carry from potentially the 1s column to the 10s and so on. And that strategy will help you throughout the arithmetic paper, as addition can crop up many, many times. Some videos into the future, this strategy will be stretched even further when we cover decimal addition, which this strategy is going to continue, but also looking at decimal numbers as well. If you want to skip ahead to that, the best place I recommend doing that is via some of the book content that I have, which are books such as Maths Like a Ninja, which is linked in the description, so you can get a copy of that. All of the strategies that you're going to need for SATs. And the other book that I definitely recommend, SATs Like a Ninja. Everything that you need for SATs, for reading, SPAG and arithmetic as well. So definitely worth checking those out. So as I said, I hope you found week 1 valuable. Lesson 1, check out lesson 2, which is subtraction, and then the third lesson, as I mentioned before, the varied representation lesson, which is probably the most crucial video of these first 3 in week 1, because it takes addition and subtraction to probably the most difficult level you're going to see it, and pupils really need to be experienced at seeing those varied representation questions. So a very busy first week. Thanks for getting involved. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to hearing your comments over the next 16 weeks.